Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. And today's issue of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, October 24th, 2025. And right here on the front page, Western Manitoba Youth Choir bring a tapestry of song to Neepawa. The Westman Youth Choir entertained a large crowd at its performance in Neepawa. The concert was given during the evening of October 20th at the Neepawa United Anglican Shared Ministry. And there's a couple of more pictures here. Westman Youth Choir concludes its area tour. The Westman Youth Choir had a very busy time recently as the group toured the Westman area, performing both private and public concerts. As part of the tour, the choir provided quality entertainment in Neepawa on Monday, October 20th. A public performance was put on that evening at the Neepawa United Anglican Church. Pictured right, earlier in the day, the Westman Youth Choir was hosted at Arts Forward for an eagerly welcomed lunch and some time to rest and socialize. The lunch was prepared by Felcan of Neepawa area and also included Farmery Craft sodas and Pandezel buns from Roder's Bakery. Scenes from the lunch hour activities are pictured at left and middle. And we'll continue on, if I can open the paper. Minnedosa Lets the Good Times Roll by Owen Devereaux. Minnedosa Bowl celebrates its 65 years of operation in the community. The thundering sound of falling pins, which echoes through the lanes of Minnedosa Bowl, had a bit more meaning behind that last weekend. On Saturday, October 18th, the local landmark commemorated 65 years in the community and marked the occasion with a birthday celebration. Locals assembled to recognize not only this special day, but also the enduring legacy of a business that's been part of the community since 1960. Mayor Ken Cameron offered congratulations to Alan and Debbie Tarn, the owners and operators of Minnedosa Bowl since 2012. Cameron noted that Minnedosa Bowl has been a family and community fixture for generations. Businesses like this are hugely important to a community such as Minnedosa. They're a facility for families and family activities, a gathering place for all. Congratulations to Minnedosa Bowl for their 65 years. You just have to look up at the banners on the walls and see just how important it's been to the community, noted Cameron. As part of the festivities, Mayor Cameron had a friendly showdown against some of Minnedosa Bowl's most prominent players. His opposition included Ava Harris and Mac Davidson, Minnedosa's oldest active players, as well as Nora Zaruri, the Alley's youngest active participant, just under 4 years old, and Tyler Dick, Minnedosa's award-winning junior bowler. Ken didn't have quite as much experience in the lanes as his competition, including Nora, but all things considered, still did well enough. A look back at 65 years of memories. Still located at its original location at 200 Main Street North, Minnedosa Bowl offers 6 lanes of 5-pin bowling fun. During the early years of operation, it was managed by the McDuffs, 1960-61, followed by Bob Bremner, 61-62. The building and business was sold in '63 to Peter Stewart, who operated it for a decade. During this time period, the second-story apartment was constructed above the common area of the center. Ralph Lamming was the next owner, who along with his family operated and lived in the apartment until 1980. From there, Minnedosa Bowl became part of the Mansell era, with Fred and Maureen Mansell running the business from 1980 to 1995. David and Cathy Mansell would then take over from 1995 to 2012, with managers Wayne and Carolyn Mansell also involved. In June 2012, Minnedosa Bowl was sold to Alan and Debbie Tarn, owners still to this day. Speaking with the Banner and Press about the business's birthday, Minnedosa Bowls Alan and Debbie Tarn expressed their gratitude to all those who have supported them through the years. It's been a good community, a supportive community to us through the years, noted Alan, even supporting us through COVID when we couldn't be open. Debbie added some context to that statement, noted that they began operation of Gutters Pizza during COVID-19 years. During that time, the community would order takeout, which helped to keep them from facing the perils of long-term closure without income option. We're overwhelmed by the support we received then and now. It's a really good community. And pictured above, Alan and Debbie Tarn, the owners and operators of Minnedosa Bowl since 2012. And down, a special birthday celebration was held on Saturday, October 18, for Minnedosa Bowl's 65th year of operation. Some of the festivities included congratulations from Mayor Ken Cameron on behalf of the town, as well as a friendly competition was held as Mayor Cameron played a game versus the community's oldest active players, Mac Davidson and Ava Harris, youngest active player, Nora Zarui, and its top player, Tyler Dick. And moving along, if I can, okay. Right in the Center by Ken Waddell. Sometimes it's too little, too late. I was thinking about municipal politics recently and pondered for a moment about how young I was when I first became aware of municipal affairs. I would have been about 7 years old. During a particularly heavy snow year, the roads to town in the Arm of Victoria were blocked for several weeks. My dad had a school van route and had to switch from a 1952 International truck to a horse-drawn, old-fashioned school van for several weeks. I'm not sure if that wintry ordeal was the instigation for my dad to visit a neighbor's to encourage him to run for Reeve, but I distinctly remember the condition of roads, especially in winter, was a major problem. Dad and some neighbors thought that Fred Harrison would make a good Reeve and hoped that he could convince the Arm of Victoria to have bigger and better equipment to grade the roads in summer and plow the roads in winter. It was my first example of seeing that the most important level of politics in Manitoba is municipal. Fast forward by about 70 years, and my memory bank is full of events where municipal affairs have affected our daily lives and livelihood. As an adult, I have now lived in 2 RMs and the town of Neepawa. I have attended countless council meetings as a taxpayer and newspaper editor. I also served as mayor of Neepawa from 1998 to 2002 and from 2012 to 2014. I have seen municipal successes, struggles, and a few disasters. In my first term as mayor of Neepawa, I was in the council chair when the Neepawa water treatment plant failed completely. That was about 5 days of stress, expense, and finally a solution. The biggest current issue, dare I say crisis, in the coverage area for our 3 papers at Verdon, Rivers, and Neepawa is the evolving issue of water quality and supply at Verdon. Verdon's water supplies are running low, and an emergency well drilling project is underway to try to avoid a full-scale water shortage crisis. Back in the day, the Verdon Council received well-intended advice that a new well would supply lots of water and do away with the arsenic level issue. That said, the arsenic level was never very high, but it was above legislated limits, and as everyone would assume, having any arsenic in drinking water isn't a good feeling. I don't think any council or officials can be blamed for the current crisis, but it has happened and is being addressed, and to that I say good on Verdon Council. There may have been an earlier solution, and what has been suggested is that the arm of Wallace Woodworth reportedly had better water and in good supply. I don't know if that is so. Maybe Verdon and Wallace Woodworth would have worked together on a regional system. My personal opinion is that the biggest problem we have in rural Manitoba is a lack of cooperation between municipal entities. Before anyone gets too upset with that statement, please note I said it's my personal opinion, but it is an opinion based on many years of municipal experience and observation. Back around 2010 or so, the NDP Greg Selinger government decided to enforce amalgamation. It didn't go all that well, as there is severe distrust between municipalities and government, and also between municipalities. For over 100 years, towns and RMs had been competing to stay alive, to achieve levels of service, and at the same time, watch populations dwindle as farms got larger. Many RMs and towns shrank. Forced amalgamation was not popular. That said, several amalgamations took place across Manitoba in our newspaper coverage area. Personally, I think RMs and towns should amalgamate. Long gone are the days when one Reeve said long ago, the government should just leave us alone, as all we need to worry about is plowing the roads in winter and grading the roads in summer. Towns, villages, and RMs all have to deal with much more than roads. There are challenges with water supply and distribution, sewage treatment and disposal, garbage and recycling, healthcare facilities, and much more. I am told there are over 20 CAO vacancies in Manitoba. Maybe we have to pay CAOs more money. Municipal politics has become too complicated, expensive, and risky to stick with what I would call the more casual approach in the past. It's rare that any major municipal project comes in under $500,000 nowadays. The Verdun water repair will be that high, and it costs over $100,000 to simply pave a block of street, let alone install or replace water and sewer pipes. We owe all our councillors and staff a vote of thanks, but that doesn't include sticking with outdated practices. And Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. Fruitcakes Revisited, 20 years later. Those who know me well will find this difficult to believe. I was studying a cookbook, not reading it for pleasure, for that's absurd on many levels, but studying as if I was preparing for a quiz, like I had a major exam coming up. Easily made Christmas cakes and fruit cakes. Page 51 of the old A Guide to Good Cooking, compiled by the makers of Five Roses Flour, copyright 1938. Oh, it's not the first fruit cake I've ever made, but it is the first one in almost 2 decades, and I got to choose from 3 handwritten recipes. I chose the dark cake, not 2 cups of molasses dark, just 1 tablespoon dark. It was a separate shopping trip to pick up the ingredients. My basic kitchen shelves do not hold 2 pounds of raisins, 1 pound of currants, half a pound of slivered almonds, 3/4 of a pound of mixed peel, nor 1 pound of glazed cherries. It did not contain the cinnamon. It did contain the cinnamon, the molasses, the nutmeg, and the allspice, not the mace, so I chose to forgo it. On hand was a pound of butter and 8 eggs. The night before baking, I carefully cut the brown paper to fit the 3 sizes of pans, and I called my sister to see if she double or triple layers the paper, remembering faintly that our mother used 3. She only uses 1, so I was down for that. Then I pre-mixed all my fruits. One recipe said it would allow the flavors to blend, and called my sister to see if I should dust them with flour so they remained separate. Again, thinking that was something we used to do. She said no, and I rejoiced. Mixing day, and I enlisted the strong arm of my grandson. It gets to be heavy work. The wooden spoon did not bend or break, and we took turns adding the eggs to the flour and the fruit to the batter. A slow oven? How slow? One book said 325 degrees. Another said 250. And called my sister to double-check the temperature. She said to try 300, so I did. I did check online to see what shelf level was recommended, and the middle one. The littlest cake was brown and firm in about an hour, the other 2 more than twice that long. It could have been a shorter time if I hadn't opened the oven so frequently to check on color and firmness. So, out of the oven, cooled and ready to store. And I called my sister to see how she stores hers, and read the cookbook again. She said that after they are cool, wrap in tin foil, then plastic, and store in a tin or a plastic container in a cool, dark place. And so I will. Some major changes in baking the cake this time compared to last time. One thing is the price. All I can say that it better be good. And second, the time was when my sister might have asked me for some input, and now I rely on her. And Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine, From the Ground Up. It's officially opened on June 30th, 1968. At 626 feet, it was the tallest structure in the city of Calgary, Alberta. It isn't anymore. It took 15 months to complete. It cost $3.5 million, roughly $32.5 million today. It was one of only 4 freestanding towers in Canada. The others are the CN Tower in Toronto, the Skylon Tower at Niagara Falls, and the Olympic Stadium Tower at Montreal. All are impressive structures, engineered to stand tall and strong in all kinds of weather for many decades to come. What is the secret to their strength, stability, and durability? In the case of the Calgary Tower, it comes from something that those visiting it will never see. The tower weighs 10,884 metric tons, of which 60% is below ground. Its base is anchored into bedrock 50 feet below ground level. That the width of the base and its weight ensure that it can withstand winds of up to 161 kilometers per hour, thanks to the foundation on which it is built. A few months ago, I watched a YouTube time-lapse of a major house renovation. The house was quite old, but it was in remarkable condition for its age. Its frame was sound, its electrical and heating systems had been upgraded to current standards, new energy-efficient windows replaced the old single panes that had been there for years, insulation had been added, and the beautifully decorated woodwork had been restored. But it was in danger of collapse. Its foundation was crumbling, and its owners knew that it was only a matter of time until the foundation would break and the whole house would implode. So they took immediate action to save their home. They hired a contractor who understood the problem and knew what to do. Huge beams were placed at strategic locations under the house's frame. Then the house was slowly jacked up and placed securely on blocks. Small excavators with jackhammers removed the old foundation one piece at a time. When everything was removed, a firm base was prepared and new footings and walls were poured. Once the cement had cured, the house was lowered until it rested on the new foundation. Now, with a solid foundation beneath it, that house could stand for many more years. The entire process took several months to complete. The time-lapse video showed it all in less than 15 minutes. In the past few months, we have heard many of our leaders talk about the need to build a new Canada or a new Manitoba. We hear a lot about new programs, new ways of making decisions, new initiatives, and new government priorities, which, in my view, are little more than renovation to a building that has been standing since Confederation. But, sadly, no one talks about the foundations on which the building stands. Maybe it's time we did. Maybe it's time we went back to our history, way back to the beginning of time, to discover 3 foundation stones on which all of human society was built: freedom, family, and faith. That we would discuss them now is no accident. They are the values for which those we honor on Remembrance Day fought, and in some cases died to defend. Over the next 3 weeks, we will explore these values, one at a time, and consider ways by which they can be incorporated into our lives and shared with others. And Beautiful Plains Museum History, West Park School by Casper Wareham. And seen here are the West Park School staff from the 1959-1960 school year. They are Doris Burns, Ruth Ferrion, Merle Bailey, Ann Jesperson, Hazel Kellington, Ella Madsen, Carrie Dalgleish, Julie Dyer, Doreen Murray, Elizabeth Sneesby, Wilder Hammersley, Mabel Johnson, Marg Kaspick, Edith Martin, and Violet Robinson. Hazel M. Kellington's was first opened on 3rd Avenue in 1951 as West Park School. Hazel Maria Kellington was the teacher in charge under the supervision of Richard W. McGammon, principal of the Neepawa Central School. West Park was renamed in Hazel Kellington's honor upon her retirement in 1995. Hazel Kellington, daughter of William Kellington and Carolyn Bradigan, was born in rural municipality of Langford on November 8, 1899. She taught for 2 years at Dumfries School, then moved to Neepawa. While teaching here, she taught primary grades for 45 years at Neepawa Central School and West Park School. Kellington was also elected as Secretary-Treasurer of the Neepawa Teachers Federation in 1931, Secretary of the Neepawa Business and Women's Professional Club in 1948, and Noble Grand of the Neepawa Rebecca Lodge. She was also an accomplished pianist, having involved herself with a music festival and school concerts. Kellington moved to Victoria, BC the summer she retired, living there until her passing on October 14, 1991. And again, we have the market report from Blaine Houston at Gladstone Auction. It was another strong market in Happy Rock this week. We sold 1,563 head of cattle through the ring in Gladstone on Tuesday, October 21st. Here are some market highlights from yesterday's sale. 3 red exotic steers weighing 831 pounds bring $5.25 a pound, 4,363 a head. A ring full of 39 red and black steer calves come in the ring weighing 681 pounds and cash in at $5.95 a pound, or $4,055 per head. 4 Charlet cross calves weighing 570 pounds stamped the ticket at $6.98 a pound, $3,977 a head. On the heifer side of things, 4 black heifers weighing 825 pounds bring $4.70 per pound, $3,877 per head. 19 red and black heifers weigh 614 pounds and fetch $602 per pound, $3,695 per head. Red and black heifer calves weighed 484 pounds bring $715 a pound, $3,303 a head. Plainer type cattle are still seeing some discounts. As you can see, the market was powerful in Gladstone on Tuesday. Out of Helen's kitchen, pork stew and banana cake. From the Manitoba Pork Producers website, Manitoba pork producers are proud to provide consumers at home and abroad with some of the best tasting and highest quality pork in the world. High Life is now selling their pork products in our local grocery stores, Fresh Mark and Co-op. Today's main meal recipe showcases that it's affordable and deliciously locally produced meat. The simple and delicious pork stew recipe will warm you up on chilly days that are coming. Pork stew is a cozy, hearty, one-pot dinner filled with tender pork and vegetables in a flavorful broth. If your Dutch oven cannot be placed in the oven, transfer the stew to a small roasters before placing in the oven. And she has recipes here for oven pork stew and, for the dessert, I guess, banana oatmeal cake. And Let's Scare Away Hunger, submitted by Addison Vandenbush and Rebecca Davidson. It is that time of year again for the Neepawa Area Collegiate Hope Group to take part in their annual Scare Away Hunger food drive to support the local Salvation Army Food Bank. From January to September, the Neepawa Salvation Army has assisted 1,294 individuals, 515 households, and has given out 32,818 pounds of food. Just this past month of September, the Salvation Army helped serve 65 households, 169 individuals, which is well over their current average. These few statistics are just a little reminder of how valuable our food bank is in our community. On October 23rd, the Hope Group will be hanging bags supplied by the Neepawa Rotary Club on all doorknobs in our community. To help fill the food bank, we are asking for the following items: canned fruit, vegetables, meat and fish, cereal, oatmeal, peanut butter, jam, pasta sauce, ramen noodles, ready-to-eat school snacks, baking supplies, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and deodorant. On October 31st, the Hope Group will be coming around in the evening to collect the donations and take them to the Salvation Army. The Hope Group asks that you leave your filled bag in a visible, well-lit space by 5:30 p.m. on October 31st for pickup. Monetary donations are also greatly accepted. Please note that if your home is missed inadvertently on pickup night, we ask you to take your bag to the Salvation Army or call them at 476-5869 for it to be picked up the next day. The Hope Group and the Neepawa Salvation Army would like to thank everyone in advance for all your generous donations. Let's help scare away hunger in our community. Excuse me. Neepawa Ravensburger Puzzle Competition Recap. Manitoba Speed Puzzlers welcomed as guest speakers by Casper Wareham. And pictured from left to right are Manitoba Speed Puzzlers representatives Rebecca Waddell, Chantal Johnson, Kirsty Williams, and Amy Rutledge. These four friends were in Neepawa last weekend, both to participate and give a special presentation at the Neepawa Puzzle Competition. Puzzle enthusiasts packed into Neepawa's Arts Forward last week on October 11th. A Ravensburger puzzle competition was hosted in partnership between Hidden Hollow, the local arts and culture center. The event began at 10:30 a.m. with a time limit of 2 hours. Puzzlers of all ages and skill levels were welcome. A total of 18 teams participated, with 14 of those teams completing their 500-piece puzzles. People in the participating teams came from both near and far, including Neepawa, Brandon, Winnipeg, and Portage la Prairie. Competition results: doubles, ER Puzzle Dust, first place, 31 minutes and 17 seconds. False Fit, second, 45 minutes and 3 seconds. Interlocking Minds, third, at 1 hour, 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Family competition, teams of 3 to 4. Not last, hopefully. First place, 47 minutes and 57 seconds. The Fast and the Furious, second, with 1 hour, 8 minutes and 38 seconds. And the third place team, which was unnamed, finished with a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes and 39 seconds. The competition went nice. It's a nice facility that they have here, and the event was very well organized, said Carrie Braden of team Not Last, hopefully. Contributing a personal reflection regarding her love of puzzles in general, fellow team member Mackenzie Brown stated, "There's a real sense of accomplishment when you finish one." The Neepawa Banner and Press extends congratulations to all contestants of the Neepawa Ravensburger competition for their efforts and the sportsmanship exhibited during the competition. A special surprise, all in attendance were in for the special treat at the end of the competition. This was a presentation from the Manitoba Speed Puzzlers representatives Amy Rutledge, Kirsty Williams, Rebecca Waddell, and Chantel Johnson, who took part in the puzzle competition as teams Eat Our Puzzle Dust and False Fits, respectively. All puzzlers are welcome to join. Manitoba Speed Puzzlers is a public group made by Rebecca Waddell with the purpose of connecting Manitoba puzzle enthusiasts and sharing puzzle events. While speed is in the name, all who hold a love for puzzles are welcome to join, regardless of how fast or slow their puzzle process may be. Partially, the purpose of the presentation is letting people know that it's not just a local thing, that there's more of us, said Rutledge, and sharing techniques, ways you can practice if you want to get fast, and answering questions people may have. Waddell added later, the big point of the presentation for us is come join us. We want you to come and do puzzles with us. Come to events, hear how you're doing, and encourage you. That's the bottom line. And if you want to learn tips and tricks, we have lots of ways to do that. If you want to come puzzle with friends, we'll provide opportunities for that. We just want to make sure that anyone who wants to join us can. A friendly hobby community. Emphasizing that point, Johnson stressed the fact that speed is not a necessity. I'm the slowest of the four of us. Not everybody is just, no, come out. It doesn't matter how slow you are. It really doesn't. And nobody is going to say, no, you're too slow, said Johnson. You may think in your head, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, but it truly doesn't matter. If puzzling is something you want to do, then just come and do it. We'll help you and guide you. Johnson, Rutledge, Waddell, and Williams have participated in a wide range of local and virtual puzzle events. Additionally, Williams has participated in the World Championship in Spain and Canadian Nationals, and Waddell has competed at Western Regionals and Canadian Nationals. Regardless of location, any puzzler's speed, or the level of competition, these four friends highlighted how welcoming the puzzle community is. Everyone is so friendly and welcoming, said Williams. Everyone wants everyone to have as much fun as they are having. Rutledge added, yeah, I think it was during the Worlds last year because the live stream it, one of the commentators made a comment, I think we're the most wholesome community in the internet, and said, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Everyone is so happy to talk puzzles. To learn more about puzzling and puzzle events in Manitoba or Canada as a whole, further information can be found at Manitoba Speed Puzzlers, Canadian Speed Puzzlers, and the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association. And meet your local entrepreneurs. 5 new businesses highlighted at Neepawa's What's the Big Idea by Casper Warehan. And pictured are the businesses that were promoted, and I'll be naming them as I read the article, by Casper Warehan. Big ideas continue to spring forth in Neepawa and the surrounding area. On October 16th, some of these ideas stepped into the spotlight. The 10th annual What's the Big Idea was held that day at the Neepawa Legion, welcoming entrepreneurs to pitch their business ideas. The day also included networking opportunities, an entrepreneur trade show, and more. A show of value. Since 2015, a total of 62 businesses have been awarded a total of $98,100 through this event to support the launch of businesses in the region. These figures include the 2025 presentation. We are glad to support events like this, giving local entrepreneurs a chance to connect, share ideas, and launch successful businesses in our community, said Deputy Mayor Murray Parrott. Neepawa Economic Development Officer Marilyn Crew, who assists businesses in preparing for the event, added, as part of the 10-year review of What's the Big Idea, Sabine Chorley, the EDO from Minnedosa, and I reached out to all of the What's the Big Idea businesses to find out how they are doing. We learned that 36 of the 57 prior Big Idea businesses are still operating. That's 63%. The Canadian average for businesses still operating after 5 years is 50%, and after 10 years, only 33% of businesses are still around. What the numbers show is that participating in What's the Big Idea increases your chance of business success. This year's event saw a total of 5 businesses competing for 12 prizes amounting to $8,050 in cash and prize awards. Awards were determined by judges Carolyn Kiziak, Futurepreneur, Alana Keefe, Women's Enterprise Centre of Manitoba, and Jody Baker Photography, and an alumni of What's the Big Idea. 2025 awards results. The 2025 awards, in order of the business pitch presentations, are Northern Taxi, owned by Pardeep Singh. This Neepawa-based taxi service seeks to provide reliable transport for its customers. Singh's business is currently operated from his home, but seeks to expand and acquire an office space in the future and bring in additional drivers as demand increases. Northern Taxi received a $750 marketing package from Pomo Time and the Neepawa Banner and Press, and $1,000 from Neepawa Area Development Corporation, NADCO. Relax and Enjoy Cleaning Company. Located in Minnedosa, this service was founded by Gregory Bykoff. Bykoff offers carpet and upholstery cleaning, deep cleaning, and more. He seeks to grow his business and take on bigger projects and eventually hire additional staff as well. For his pitch, Bykoff received $500 and a one-year membership from the Minnedosa Chamber of Commerce and $1,000 from the Minnedosa CDC. Happy Clover. This food truck is operated by Natalia, Veronica, and Roman Zuniak. The Zuniak's business offers food which combines a variety of cultures found throughout Manitoba. For example, French hot dogs served with bread that uses a distinctly Ukrainian recipe. As food trucks are season limited, the family hopes to establish a year-round cafe location and expand their catering services in the future. Happy Clover was awarded $300 from the Neepawa Lionels and $1,000 from the town of Neepawa. Chroma Films. Based in Neepawa, Chroma Films is owned by Thea Christabel Duca and Roderick Pernicious. This photography and videography business aims to capture meaningful memories in both mediums. Currently operated out of their home, the pair seek to establish a professional studio in the future. For their pitch, Chroma's Films was awarded $500 and a one-year membership in the Neepawa and District Chamber of Commerce and $1,000 from Community Futures Westman for Best Pitch of the Day. A Better Connection Therapy Services. Operated in partnership between Shelby Gillies and behavior consultant Martina Villa, this business won Best Overall Idea. They offer speech, language, and behavior consulting services for both individuals and families. The pair seek to welcome occupational therapists, physical therapists, and more in the future. They also hope to help train future professionals in speech therapy and behavioral therapy. A Better Connection was presented with $1,000 from NACTV and $1,000 from Stride Credit Union. Well done. And Neepawa Tigers advance to the Murray Cup Black by Owen Devereaux. And pictured, Neepawa running back Daxton Brock put together a respectable 76 yards rushing against Park West on Sunday, October 19th, including this massive first half. And Neepawa Tigers quarterback E.J. Keegan receives the snap from center. Keegan concluded the game with a pair of passing touchdowns, as well as two more on the ground, helping power Neepawa to a 35-8 win. And this week's Dairy Queen Neepawa Tigers Players of the Week were presented to Tyson Selby, Soren Brock, and Jesse Whitlaw. Tyson has really come into his own as a safety this season. Jesse is no stranger to touchdowns, and Soren keeps our players hydrated with ease. Congrats, boys. So, the NACI Tigers have earned place in the RMFL's Murray Black Cup, defeating the Park West Outlaws 35-8 on Sunday, October 19th. Quarterback E.J. Keegan helped propel the Tigers to the final, going 7 for 18 passing for 229 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He also rushed for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Another notable performance on offense came from Daxton Brock, who rushed for 76 yards, including a massive 40-yard dash in the first half to set up a Neepawa score. As for the defensive side of things, Tyson Selby coming up huge just before halftime, intercepting a Park West throw and running it back all the way for a touchdown. That made the score 21-0 for Neepawa at the break, which more than enough points for the Tigers to secure the victory. Head coach Luca Clark noted that the entire Tigers coaching staff was pleased at how locked in the team was in every facet of the game. We played well in all 3 phases of our game against the Outlaws. They're a tough team, and with this being their potentially last game of the season, we are expecting them to leave everything on the field, said Clark. Our players started the game strong, ended the first half with an interception returned for a touchdown, and that play really sealed the game. The second half was a consistent push to not give away any free chances, and it paid off with a big win. Next for Neepawa will be a showdown with the Transcona Nationals in the Murray Black Division final. This will be the third game between these clubs this year, with Neepawa winning the first contest back in week 3 of the season 37-28. Transcona would reply back in the final game of the regular season by besting the Tigers 24-19 and handing Neepawa its first and so far only loss of the year. Clark said this third game with the Nationals will definitely going to be a battle. They have strong players and, like us, are looking for that championship. It's their first year in the RMFL, and I'm sure they're looking to make a statement. We're healthy, fast, strong, and most importantly, smart in how we play the game. I expect them to come in chippy and to bring everything they have. I expect nothing less from our players and coaches. We know what we need to do, and we just need to execute. Clark concluded by stating that the team's mantra over the last few weeks has been, "We're not done yet." Our grade 12s and down to our grade 9s realize that we have one more to go to bring the Murray Black Cup home where it belongs to Neepawa. The Murray Black Cup Championship game will be played in Neepawa on Sunday, October 26, with a start time of 3 p.m. at the Neepawa Collegiate Field. Everyone is invited to attend and cheer on the team. And the Neepawa Titans bested by Winkler. Titans goaltender Alex Myers faces a shot from Winkler during Neepawa's game against the Flyers on Tuesday, October 21st. Myers made 32 saves on the night, but was still tagged with the loss in a 6-3 defeat at Icon Arena. The next home game for the Neepawa Titans will be on October 29th against Steinbach Pistons. MJHL report. Is Selkirk for real? Submitted by Derek Holton. So, are the Selkirk Steelers for real this year? The answer just might be yes, or at the very least, they are positioned to get back into the playoffs this year for the first time since 2022. A month into the season, the Steelers still sit atop the MJHL standings with 20 points in 11 games, one more than the Steinbach Pistons, who have 19 points in 10 games. The Steelers rocketed out to a similar strong start last year, only to flounder as their schedule got tougher. They finished 9 points back of the Niverville Nighthawks for the final playoff spot, a team that has just since their addition to the MJHL has edged out the Steelers for the final playoff spot in the East Division. Admittedly, the Steelers' schedule this year has seen them playing many weaker opponents in the MJHL. This includes 3 games against the Winnipeg Monarchs, 2 against the Northern Manitoba Blizzard, and 1 against both the Swan Valley Stampeders and Winnipeg Blues. All those teams are currently outside of the playoff line. By comparison, the Winkler Flyers have played only playoff teams such as Steinbach, Wewaysecapo, Portage, Niverville, and Selkirk. Their lone easy game was a 7-1 victory over the lowly Winnipeg Monarchs. More importantly, though, is a pair of wins against the Winkler Flyers, who are also below the playoff line and only have 2 victories in 9 starts this year. For the Steelers to get back into playoffs, they're going to have to beat teams that have traditionally struggled against. The Winkler Flyers, who won the MJHL championship 2 years ago and had the best record in the league last year, is the sort of team that Steelers need to finish ahead of in the standings if they want to make the playoffs. All that said, the only loss for the Steelers this year, and it's the only games they have played against a team in the playoffs, a 5-3 loss to the Steinbach Pistons. In the next 10 games, the Steelers face teams such as Dauphin Kings, Wewaysecapo Wolverines, Niverville Nighthawks, and the Steinbach Pistons, all playoff teams. How they fare in the next 10 games will give us real insight into whether the Steelers are contenders, a playoff team, or if another collapse is in the works. A light week of the MJHL in terms of trades with just a pair to report. First up, the Winnipeg Blues sent Nolan Nyson to Timmins from the NOJHL for a player development fee, a PDF. As well, the Niverville Nighthawks sent forward Lucas Bertolin and Matthew Bertolin to Thunder Bay of the SIJHL for a PDF. The MJHL Manitoba Liquor and Lottery's 3 stars of the week are headed up by forward Nicholas Gudmundsson of the Winkler Flyers. Despite their slow start, Gudmundsson has his hot hand and shown by 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points in 2 games last week. Next up is goaltender Bryson Yachishin from the Dauphin Kings. The Morden native won both of his starts, posting a 1.0 GAA and a .957 save percentage. The final winner is forward Bryce Bryant from the Verdun Oil Capitals. In 3 games, Bryant scored 4 goals and added 1 helper for a 5-point week. and a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, 2 of them actually, that went down when rivals Steinbach and Portage clashed has led to several suspensions. The most severe went to rookie forward Dylan Caron, a native of St. Albert, Alberta, from the Terriers. He was dinged 8 games for leaving the bench to fight and being part of multiple fights at the same stoppage. Other Portage players hit with suspensions include Breck Hirschoff, 1 game for fighting off the playing surface, Noah Terrian, 2 games for multiple fights at the same stoppage, and head coach Blake Spiller, 1 game for failure to control the bench. Steinbach Piston suspensions included 2 games for multiple fights at the same stoppage to Liam Doyle and Rory Gilmore, as well as a 1-game suspension to Brett Kaiser for fighting off the playing surface. Caron finished the game with 59 minutes in penalties, all by himself. Collectively, the 2 teams amassed a staggering 272 minutes in penalties, numbers not seen in MJHL for years following changes to limit fighting. This might not be the hockey the MJHL wants its players being a part of, but I'm betting the 568 fans in attendance didn't mind one bit. I don't know. And the Regional Library Board presents Potential Levy Raise by Joshua Jackson. As the popular PBS Kids television show Arthur taught us, having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. And that was the point of the Westman Regional Library, as director of the Westman Regional Library, Eric and Martin, along with Neepawa Public Library Branch Supervisor, Caitlin Henderson, presented a potential levy increase to the Neepawa Town Council earlier this month. According to the presentation, 6 municipalities contribute to the Westman Regional Library: the City of Brandon, the Town of Carberry, the Municipality of North Cyprus Langford, the Town of Neepawa, and Municipality of Glenborough South Cyprus, and the RM of Grassland. In total, the WMRL serves 64,828 people, and membership is over 14,000 across the region. There are 1,179 members in the Neepawa Public Library. The Westman Regional Library shares expenses for staffing, resources, bookkeeping, programming, and catalog across its branches. The Westman Regional Library presented its draft budget to the Council, which the Library Board is set to vote on. The increase will be up from $14.50 per capita to $14.80, which equates to a 4.6% increase. The WMRL is increasing their levies by 4.6%, which equates to an increase of $3,965 for the town of Neepawa. The reason for the increase is due to the general rising costs of everything, from supplies to toilet paper, which is putting a strain on the WMRL. Last year, the levy was raised by $1, which was a 7.6% increase. During the presentation, it was pointed out that the Selkirk Library recently entered a 3-year agreement and saw its rates rise by 20% in the first year. We have increases on everything from our supplies down to toilet paper, receipt print paper, and books especially have increased. The cost of doing a library is going up, and a 4.6% increase is just staying at the status quo, if I'm being honest, said Martin. Plenty to do at the library. There are many benefits that the Neepawa Public Library and the Westman Regional Library provide our community. The WMRL has around 124,000 physical items available to everyone across the region. Neepawa has around 18,000 items, 72,000 items available via e-library apps. The Neepawa Library hosts programming year-round, which is available for free, and you don't need a library card. They strive to host a variety of activities for all ages, from book clubs and story times to children's activities, and even Dungeons and Dragons sessions. The library also takes pride in getting out around the community. They attend events such as Neepawa's Got Pride to raise awareness of the library services. The Neepawa Public Library also has a good relationship. The Neepawa Library operates a free library at the Neepawa Campground and celebrates local authors. More than just books, the Neepawa Library offers many other services, such as audiobooks and loaning out the new Envoy Connects, an easy-to-use portable device for reading accessible audiobooks. This library contains resources memberships can borrow, such as Leapfrog Kids Learning, a stargazing kit, and more. The library prides itself on offering lots of activities available for kids, such as scavenger hunts, a craft corner, different books, and even some toys in the library. The Neepawa Library and the WMRL have also noticed more school-aged children and teenagers coming to the library because it's a place where they can be and they won't have to spend money. With the census in Neepawa expected to show growth as the population in Neepawa continues to grow, Martin reminded Council that when families move in, there's a demographic that needs the library. Where else can you go for 3 hours and not spend a penny out of your pocket for that afternoon? They can take their kids to Lego Club, study in the back corner, read a book quietly, check on some government documents they need on the computer, or access the free Wi-Fi. We offer programming, physical, and digital resources. A good place to be. And Minnedosa's RDs on Main celebrates 10 years of community, culture, and cuisine. And pictured RDs on Main in Minnedosa hosted its 10th anniversary last week. The restaurant hosted a by-donation buffet, which this year raised around $2,716 for the Minnedosa Health District Auxiliary. And RDs on Main owner Raj Mishra and his family have lived in the area since 2010 and started the restaurant in 2016. And this is by Joshua Jackson. A Minnedosa staple is celebrating a decade of delicious memories as RDs on Main marked its 10th anniversary this month. Owner Raj Mishra and his family have lived in the area since 2010, have worked at area restaurants until he had a chance to start his own endeavor. We bought the place in Minnedosa in 2016, and we've been very successful so far, he said. We really enjoy having a business here and helping out our community. To celebrate the milestone, RDs on Main hosted a free buffet to celebrate its anniversary while giving back to the community. Patrons are encouraged to pay what they can, with the donations going to a local charity. This year, the buffet helped raise $2,716 for the Minnedosa Health District Auxiliary. Mishra says it's gratifying to see everyone coming to support the restaurant and help give back to the town of Minnedosa. When we came into this town, we didn't know anything about anybody. Luckily, the town of Minnedosa supported us. They welcomed us, and we are very friendly, he said. We try to give the best quality, quantity, and service. We have prided ourselves on doing that for the past 10 years, and we are hoping to have more success in coming years. Mishra emphasized that the restaurant's success isn't just about food, but about the relation that built over the years. From recognizing his regulars by name to supporting local causes, the owner of RDs on Main believes in the importance of connection and gratitude. We do business in our town, and we help the community, and the community helps me to give back. It's the small things like we did at our 10th anniversary. We try to give something to them to get them back to them, which takes a good relationship with the customer, he said. Mishra picked up the profession since he was a young boy and attributed his love of the industry to his parents. I didn't have enough money to go to school, so I started learning from my parents. They had a restaurant too. I started slowly learning and helping them, he said. From there, I started going to big kitchens like 4-star hotels and restaurants, and I started learning under the chef. When I came to Canada, I learned many things, including the culture. I try to bring a fusion of Canadian and Asian culture together. RDs on Main is nestled within the town of Minnedosa's core. The restaurant boasts an atmosphere and a menu fit the whole family, from classic breakfast to lunch staples, fried chicken, and Indian cuisine. Plus, RDs offers a supper buffet and an Indian buffet on select nights. As to what the future holds for Mishra, he said that he's hoping to share some exciting news in the next little bit about expanding his business. Our new location is going to be coming very soon in Neepawa, he said. And preparing for the future. The town of Neepawa has started one last improvement project before the winter arrives. The crews have dug up a section of Mountain Avenue, close to Commerce Street. This work is believed to be the prelude for a planned expansion of the nearby school. As part of this work, however, a water disruption notice has been released, effective immediately. The disruption will impact buildings on Mountain Avenue from Williams Street to Seeds and Sprouts. As well, a boil water advisory will be in place for that area until further notice. Work on the section of road and water lines will be completed as quickly as possible. And you can see a big hole in the ground with a big machine digging it. And it's beaver business. This beaver was spotted in the area by photographer Waddell. Fall is a very busy season for these animals as they've been working on their lodges, building up their body fat and food reserves, and more in preparation for winter season. As they remain active in winter, these tasks are important beaver business. And what do we got here? And Looking Back by Caspar Werhan. 125 years ago, October 1900, the Lucille Davidson Bazaar and Entertainment, which was successful last year in raising the sum of $55, the proceeds of which have maintained 2 cots in the hospital at Chengdu, China, will be again repeated next month with the same object in view. There are not much interest in fire protection at Gladstone. Last week they voted on a bylaw to spend $5,000. There were 16 voted for and 12 against. 100 years ago. Arden, the War Memorial Committee, would like relatives to send in the names of all men who enlisted for the Great War from the municipality of Lansdowne and paid the supreme sacrifice, to J. Ogston Arden, Secretary of the Committee. McCreary, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Geesh have returned from Saskatchewan, where they've been looking after the interests in the crop growing on this land in that district. The Black Diamonds Minstrel Show on Friday should bring out a full house, local artists, local hits, and good singing. Admission, 50 cents. Gallery, 35 cents. Children, 25 cents. October 23rd, 1925, Arden. W.A. Bailey, a former resident of the Inkerman district, has purchased the Porteous property and with his family will take immediate possession. Franklin. Mrs. Arthur Neal had quite a bad chimney fire yesterday, but willing hands came to her assistance and no damage was done. At the same time, it makes one wonder where the fire engine has got itself tucked away and whether we should have an occasional fire drill to keep it in working order. McCreary. Mrs. Frank Ashby Kilwood has been appointed agent for the Spirella Company of Canada and will visit McCreary very shortly. Kilwood. Mrs. Frank Ashby has been appointed agent for the Spirella Company of Canada for McCreary, Norgate, Kilwood, and Riding Mountain, with headquarters in Kilwood. Burney. We seem not to be able to get the threshing finished here. Just as we get started, it snows again. Well, such is life. Take what we get and make the most of it. Burney. Lots of sand being hauled to the Fox Farm for the new barn, which is to be built this fall. Also cement unloaded and hauled out. Norgate. Born to Mr. and Mrs. Thompson Willerton on Saturday, October 10th. A daughter, Fern. Eden. R.E. and Earl Code installed a 5-tube Distotone radio on Monday. 75 years ago, 1950, against a substantial vote in favor, an actual voting minority of ratepayers last Friday defeated the $60,000 debenture issue, which was signed to give Neepawa adequate fire protection and, as ordered by the Provincial Health Department, extensions to the disposal plant. Work is progressing rapidly on the new school and new hospital. Mequon. The funeral service for James Stewart, pioneer resident of the Mequon district, who died at Helston October 8th, was held in Mequon United Church on October 11th. Reverend A.D. McCaskey officiated. 55 years ago, 1975, building an outdoor rink in Neepawa. The task of building an outdoor rink at the west end of the Yellowhead Arena was undertaken by volunteers in October of 1975. The rink was being set up for the purpose of handling overflow skaters. And the CGIT group of Knox Presbyterian Church joined in the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Canadian Girls in Training across Canada on Sunday, October 12th, by taking full charge of the church service. Plumas, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Brian Kirkland, who were married Saturday, October 18th. A large crowd of family, friends, and neighbors gathered at Glen Hope Hall Saturday evening, October 11th, to celebrate the 25th wedding anniversary of Walter and Vina Musica, which is October 27th. The evening was spent dancing to music supplied by the Asham Anderson Orchestra. All the Mazuka family were able to attend. 20 years ago, 2005, the Viscount Cultural Council celebrated its grand opening in its first permanent home last Friday, and Administrator Brenda Chrischuk couldn't have been happier. It turned out better than we expected, Chrischuk said of renovations to the former First Baptist Church on Mountain Avenue. The VC took possession of the 4,000 square foot building July 1st. 2 charter members, Merv Drayson and Lionel Windus, will be recognized with 50-year pins when the Neepawa BPO Elks Lodge celebrates its 50th anniversary on Saturday. And this week we have the Farmer's Advocate. Pictured on a clear day. On a clear day you can see forever. For motorists and hikers that ascend the Riding Mountain escarpment, fall is a great time of year to take in one of the best views in Manitoba. Even on into mid-October, there were lots of color to see and warm weather to enjoy. And Together We Grow, Local Farmers Contribute to Canadian Food Grain Bank by Joshua Jackson. Farmers from various parts of the region continue to produce grain for the Canadian Food Grains Bank. Grain is harvested and sold to raise funds to invest in development projects around the world. The Canadian government matches the funds 4-1. Pictured here are several area farmers. A group of farmers in the beautiful Plains region is making a difference worldwide, one harvest at a time. As the harvest in the region is drawing to a close, some farmers in the area are taking off the last of their crops for the Canadian Food Grains Bank, CFB. Locally, the White Mud Growing Project began in 2013 after Jake Ham purchased some land near Plumas and started planting a crop of corn as well as a crop of wheat, thanks to donated land. The project has continued to expand in the region thanks to eager farmers and the local Hutterite colony stepping up to donate. The Canadian Food Grains Bank is a partnership of 15 Canadian churches and church-based agencies working together to end global hunger. The Food Grains Bank sells donated Canadian grain and uses the proceeds to buy food locally in developing countries, which is then distributed during crises or used for long-term development projects. Through the federal government, the CFB leverages donations from individuals, churches, and businesses up to a ratio of 4-to-1 for food assistance in the developing world, up to $25 million each year. Volunteer Representative Jake Ham says he's proud of the work that's been done for the CFB in the area, as well as a number of volunteers who contribute. It's a big harvest, especially with matching funds from the federal government, he said. It's nice to provide a vehicle where others could jump in and add it to it, and they've been added to it big time, so it's really appreciated. One of their big hauls of grain comes from 136 acres of land that are cultivated north of Gladstone and marks a unique project for the local chapter of the CFB, as the lands were donated by a local lawyer who has since passed away. This year we had wheat on it. With dry weather and heat, the wheat wasn't terrific. It was a 40-plus bushels per acre this year, which is marketed directly to Parish Heimbecker in Gladstone. They made room for us right off the elevator, so we don't have to store us. Other contributors in the White Mud Growing Project include Odessa Colony and the Spring Hills Colony, which harvested 106 acres of canola, averaging 59 bushels per acre. Riverdale Colony had 50 acres of canola, while Riverside Colony also delivered a load of wheat, and the Odessa Colony and Pine Creek colonies brought in some wheat as well, which they delivered directly. There is also a CFB growing project in Austin, split between the Manitoba Agriculture Museum and the Austin Heritage Harvest Growing Project. Ham noted there will be more deliveries made as season winds down, and the local project is hitting a huge milestone. This year we will hit $2 million that we have sent in from the White Mud Growing Project with this surrounding support, he said. It's amazing what we can do collectively. One person alone couldn't do it, but collectively we can. When you get the matching grant from the government grant, you can feed a lot of people. According to its website, the Canadian Food Grains Bank started in 1974 after Canadian farmers were harvesting a bumper crop at the same time that families in Bangladesh were facing famine. This grassroots initiative to send out Canadian grain to people in need was the catalyst for nearly 50 years of humanitarian efforts. Memories in Agriculture, Growing Registered Seed by Casper Wareham. Pictured Ken Gordon and Tom Spafford of the Riding Mountain area at Tom Spafford's registered seed plot. Inset a close-up of Tom Spafford, pictured in 1967. He was at his registered Neepawa wheat plot for this photo. Note, this history piece was written using information culminated from the Canadian Seed Growers Association and the book History of Riding Mountain and Area. The Canadian Seed Growers Association, CSGA, has a history spanning 121 years. Founded in 1904, it was formed to pursue crop improvements in Canada. The Manitoba branch of the CSGA kick-started in 1922 when a man named MP Mountain of Solsgirth was elected as its president. However, there are strong local bonds to the CSGA as well. One example of those bonds is Tom W. Spafford of Riding Mountain. Spafford became a registered seed grower in 1934 when he grew his first registered seed crop. His dedication to growing crops with registered seed throughout the years has then led them to becoming an elite stock grower. According to History of Riding Mountain and area, elite stock is obtained from breeder seed that is of the highest status and used as parent seed to produce all other classes of pedigreed seed. This breeder seed is developed by the Department of Agriculture. To this day, breeder seed is still sown, usually with a drill in plots of an acre or two in size. Space is also left between every 6 rows in order to allow for a hand removal of any undesirable plants. In particular, the removal of these plants, formerly known as roguing, including bearded and semi-bearded off-types, obnoxious weeds, wild oats, and speltoids. Inspectors also check the plots row by row and can pass or fail the plot depending on how many undesirable plants are found. When the crop is harvested, the progeny is kept separate and is later cleaned from the next year's foundation crop. The Spaffords did their seed cleaning on the farm with a fanning mill and a carder disc until 1950, when they moved their equipment to a building in Riding Mountain. The Spaffords cleaned and shipped thousands of bushels of Selkirk wheat, Manitou, Neepawa, and Rodney and Harmon oats were also processed by the Spaffords. Tom Spafford also served as president of the CSGA's Manitoba branch. His term of service from 1953 to 1955. Also in 1953, Spafford was recognized with the Robertson Associate Award, a commendation given to seed growers for distinguished. Gordon Spafford also became a seed grower in the early 60s. Like his father, he also became an elite and seed grower, producing and cleaning many varieties of wheat and some oats. Manitoba farmers racing to finish harvest. Staff written. The latest crop report from the province shows that around 93% of the crops have now been harvested. Cereal crop specialist Ann Kirk, who compiled the most recent report, noted there was some strong momentum out in the fields before the arrival of wet weather slowed things down. We had plenty good progress, though we did have some more precipitation over the weekend, so that put a pause on harvest operations. But early in the week, we did have some good progress, said Kirk. In terms of specific crops, cereal and canola harvests are essentially complete, with soybeans sitting around 90%. Meanwhile, grain corn was at 42% and sunflowers were near 20% harvested. The crops that are left to come off are a little bit of canola, some flax, soybeans, sunflowers, grain corn, and silage corn, stated Kirk. For cereal yields, Kirk noted that they have been solid across much of the province, though conditions varied depending on rainfall. For spring wheat, we're looking at about 60 bushels, or just higher per acre on average, depending on the region. We did have some higher yields ranging from about 70 to 90 bushels per acre in areas that got some more favorable growing conditions during the season. Oat yields ranged from 110 to 130 bushels per acre, while barley came in between 65 and 110 bushels per acre. Recent moisture and wind in some parts of the province has created some challenges for farmers in the final stretch. But despite these issues, most producers are satisfied with how the season turned out. I think in general, farmers are fairly happy with their crop, Kirk said. Some of the pockets that were really dry during the growing season do have quite a bit lower yields, and people that weren't able to get their crops off in a timely manner would be less happy with their harvest. But I think in general, things look pretty good. Kirk also noted that winter cereal planting is complete and crops are establishing well with the majority of winter cereals at the 3-leaf stage. And Manitoba Forage and Grasslands Association honored with National Water Canada Award. Manitoba Forage and Grasslands Association, MFGA, is the first ever Water Canada Awards winner of the Early Adopter or Innovation Partnership Award. The MFGA Aquaquanti model created by Manitoba Forage and Grasslands Association and Aquanti Inc. delivers Canada's first digital twin of the Assiniboine Basin to help farmers and communities adapt to extreme weather. Mike Duguid, the MFGA chair, said the award is a huge honor for all MFGA board members and staff that have worked on the model over the years, showcasing the leadership ability of the MFGA to work with farmers and farm groups to key in on water management via the model and forecasting tool, as well as important role and potential of forages and grasslands in future climate change scenarios and resilience, especially around water. Duguid tipped his hat to the outstanding ongoing partnership with the Aquanti and the partnerships with Assiniboine West, Pembina Valley, Souris River, and Red Boyne watershed districts, as well as the Rolling River First Nations, AWWD, and Swan Lake First Nations, PVWD, collaborations as well as the original founders at AAFC in the province of Manitoba. And pictured is Dr. Stephen Frey, Aquanti, Mike Duguid, MFGA, Duncan Morrison, MFGA ex-director, and Dr. Andre Eyre, Aquanti, celebrating MFGA Aquanti Model's win at the 16th Annual Water Canada Awards on October 16th in Toronto. And MFGA zeroes in on province's net zero plans for Region Ag. The Manitoba government has unveiled Manitoba's Path to Net Zero, a strategy guided by the Indigenous teachings of the gathering Manaman wild rice, a bold plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, strengthen communities, and build a resilient, low-carbon economy that benefits all Manitobans. Premier Wab Kinew and Environment and Climate Change Minister Mike Moyes announced earlier this month. Of special interest to MFG audiences, the strategy includes sector-based opportunities around sustainable agriculture, including key initiatives around the advancement of regenerative agriculture and BMPs. For more information and to view the full roadmap, visit https://manitoba.ca/netzero/. And Memories in Agriculture, the Circle C Calf Club. This photograph from Manitoba's agricultural history features the Circle C Calf Club. This calf club was based in the Beautiful Plains area and was one of many calf clubs that could be found throughout Manitoba back in the day. This particular photo is dated to the 1940s. Pictured in the back row from left to right are Pedden Connell, Clarence Minkus, Murr Simon, Don Conrad, and Archie McNair. Middle row, Joyce Campbell, Jean McNair, Verla Simon, Jean Connell, and Mary Lindsay. Front row, Shirley Wilkinson and Clarence Wilkinson. If anyone has any further information, please email Casper at the Neepawa Banner and Press via newsroom@neepawapress.com. And the province extends rent freeze for agricultural crown lands. The Manitoba government is extending the rent freeze for agricultural crown lands, ACL, forage leases into the 2026 growing season, continuing its commitment to making life more affordable for producers. Agriculture Minister Ron Contition announced, Manitoba producers are the backbone of the provincial economy, and our government is committed to keeping life affordable for hardworking Manitobans who put food on our tables, said Contition. Considering this rent freeze provides financial stability for producers and reflects our commitment to affordability. The current rate of $3.66 per animal unit months remains the lowest ACL rental rate in Western Canada. This announcement is a relief for the Crown land users and gives us some certainty after a year of severe challenges, said Brent Benson, cattle producer. From extreme weather to the uncertainty of trade markets and feed supplies, some producers struggled to keep their family ranches operational without having to make decisions that could affect their sustainability or viability. We look forward to working with the Manitoba government as we move toward a system of fair and predictable rental rates, as well as policies that encourage young producers to enter the industry, an important component to ensuring the long-term sustainability of the family ranch. The ACL program supports approximately 1,750 leaseholders across Manitoba who rely on Crown lands for grazing, haying, and cropping activities. These lands are a vital public asset, supporting the livestock sector, advancing sustainable land use, and respecting treaty and Indigenous rights, the minister noted. Alongside the rate freeze, the Manitoba government has launched the first ever phase of a public engagement process to help shape the future of the ACL program. Through an online survey on Engage Manitoba, Manitobans can provide feedback on 3 basic areas. Lease allocation methods limits the total amount of land a single leaseholder can hold, and renewal options for modern leases. Manitoba beef producers appreciates the consultations from various aspects of the agricultural Crown lands leasing program to ensure it is responsive to the needs of the cattle sector, said Matthew Atkinson, President, Manitoba Beef Producers. We strongly encourage beef producers to make their views known during this important engagement process, as it will help shape the future of the program. This survey represents the first phase of public engagement in the ACL program review. Feedback gathered will help inform proposed regulatory updates and program improvements. Further consultation with stakeholders, including leaseholders and Indigenous communities, will follow before final decisions are made, the minister said. Feedback collected through the survey and consultations will inform final program adjustments and regulatory updates anticipated for implementation in 2027, the minister added. And to finish up, as always, we are NACTV, and we have an NACTV Annual General Meeting 2025, November 24th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Neepawa Library. And NACTV is looking for volunteers and board members. If you watch this channel and you want to help us out, please let us know. Come to the meeting, give us your opinions. And highlights of the week, Coffee Chat, Gathering Our Roots, October 28th at 6:30, October 30th at 4 p.m., and November 2nd at 2 p.m. What's the Big Idea? Colleen Krebs, We Manitoba, October 27th at 4:45 p.m., and November 1st at 4:15 p.m. What's the Big Idea? Wendy Yan, Futurepreneur, October 28th at 10:30 and October 30th at 1:15. And don't forget about our bingo, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. And That concludes the reading of the Neepawa Banner and Press for Friday, October 24th, 2025. Thanks for watching.